Welcome to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati Spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Now here along with Dr. Bonati, your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thank you for watching and listening to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by Ethan Euchre.
Here as always. Glad to be here.
And Jeff Wagstaff.
Present.
He's our senior fellow. And we have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon and founder of the Bonati Spine Institute, Dr. Alfred Bonati. Thank you for being here, sir.
Hello.
Hello. I love that. Hello.
A man of few words.
Yes.
Few words.
You should only be privy to what happens behind the scenes here, but
it's fun.
It is. We have a great group of people working here, and not only here, but for the Bonati Spine Institute. And that's all because of that man right over there, Dr. Alfred Bonati. He has paved the path for many to receive treatment to their back problems. He made his own procedure called the Bonati Spine Procedures. And they are, a lot of people try to mimic them. They try to cause confusion going minimally invasive, minimally invasive, minimally invasive. Guess what? It's not his procedure. His procedure is the Bonati Spine Procedures, and they're the only ones that reflect a 98.75% patient satisfaction rate. Now, that's based on the latest 7.5-year research of our patients, and they're talking about true patient resolve, not just the fact a procedure was performed. Now, we tend to typically understate what we do. So that's why we always say we're over 94%. And we are, and we always have been. And anytime we've spot checked over a span of years, there are months on end where we're at 100%. But that, nothing's really always 100%. So 98.75, those are facts that you can count on. And that's why Bonati succeeds where others fail.
And a lot of the imitators out there, too, not only do they not have Dr. Bonati's patented procedures.
They don't have his experience.
They don't have his experience and
his knowledge.
They don't have his success rate. And Dr. Bonati ends up having to fix a lot of their bumbled procedures. So why even bother when you can just go to the man and know you're going to get it done right?
Time and time again, we hear from the patients that talk about being told by leading experts in the field, in their particular areas, and they're being told there's nothing that can be done, or they're going to have to live that way, or they're always going to be on pain meds. And you know what? It's one thing when they come straight to the Bonati Spine Institute and we're able to help them first and foremost, but nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. So, fortunately, they make their way to us and we're able to resolve their problems. Things like RSD, fibromyalgia. There's something, what is it, arachnoiditis?
Correct.
Okay. So if you suffer or you know someone that does, reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute. With that said, on our program,
Big show today.
We have in-studio guests. So coming up is going to be Malcolm Out Loud, national news and political commentator and host of Malcolm Out Loud, Malcolm. And my question for Malcolm is, I don't know his last name.
It's loud.
I don't know, but we're going to have to find out because inquiring minds want to know. And then following him, we have Dr. Eric Luthard, ex-prize winner, neurosurgeon. Did I say the right? Ex-prize winner?
Yeah, he's an ex-prize winner, a neurosurgeon. He's an author.
Biomedical engineer. He has like over 800 patents, either granted or pending. This guy's amazing.
Yeah, and he's working on a computer brain interface that'll help stroke victims rewire, retrain their brains so they can move their bodies.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely unbelievable stuff.
Talk to him later.
But up first,
In today's Back to Life segment, we will talk to a patient of the Bonati Spine Institute who went from living a life that was restricted by pain and discomfort through their journey of finding the Bonati Spine Institute and are now living pain-free.
So it is my pleasure to introduce Carol Ann Benjamin. She's calling in from St. Augustine, Florida. And if I'm correct, you have a weekly real estate show in that area?
I do. We record. Well, we are on live every Thursday from 4 to 5 on WSOS, and we stream online at staugustineradio.com.
Oh,
I love St. Augustine. I just went there a few weeks ago for the first time ever, and I've lived in Florida for almost 9 years, and it's such a cool, beautiful little town.
Very historical.
Well, you've got to come back next summer because we're celebrating our 450th anniversary.
Wow.
big celebration here.
Yes.
I will be there. So Carol Ann, tell us how your pain started and just kind of walk us through your journey.
Well, I believe my pain was as a result of packing boxes and doing spring cleaning, moving the boxes to my garage, and then decided I needed to rearrange my living room. So I was pushing my couch around and oversized recliner chair. And I remember, making a mental note that I had hurt my back. And after that event, this was a year ago, March, through the course of that spring and summer and fall, I was having what I thought were symptoms of sciatica, where I had the pain radiating down my leg. And, from time to time, I would find myself stretching forward and bending down, just trying to relieve that pain. I am also a real estate agent here in St. Augustine, so quite often I'm in and out of my car, showing property, and it started, affecting my work. In March of this year, however, I opted to trade my SUV for a car that the seat was kind of like a sports car. And, of course, being excited about my new car, I took a trip to Key West. And by the time I got to Key West, I was having difficulty walking and a lot of pain. When I returned from that trip to St. Augustine, I then was really suffering with pain. So I went to a massage therapist who did, deep tissue, body massage. And I don't know if that contributed to my problem, but right after that massage session, I was in terrible pain. And that was on a Sunday, and by Thursday of that week, I was bedridden for a little over 10 days. So much so that I had a friend that had to come here to the house just to help me get out of bed. So I went to the local healing arts center that is kind of like a family law or a family practice, and talked to the doctor there, and he had suffered with sciatica. He had the same situation in being in a car driving through Canada, and prescribed me muscle relaxers and pain medication, and sent me on my way.
Right.
And of course, whenever the pain pills were gone and the muscle relaxers, of course, the excruciating pain returned. And I went back to the clinic, and of course, I was told, well, they were not a pain management center, but they wanted to order an MRI, which they did, and this is at the end of May.
Wow.
The MRI revealed that I had 2 bulging discs and a herniated disc.
Right.
And at that point, I didn't know, where to go. They referred me to the orthopedic center here. So I went there, and at that point was told that, I could either do epidural, I think, steroid injections, or I could opt for back surgery. And when I inquired about that, I realized they wanted to fillet my back, and I was not going to have that done. I'm 62 years old, and through the years, I've known many people who have had what I call the traditional back surgery, and not anyone that I've ever known who had that surgery was pain-free. It seemed that they had the same problems, or they were still dealing with pain issues and, physical limitations. And I'm a scaredy cat, and so I was not going to do that. So this summer, it was horrible. Again, I'm a realtor, and there were many times when I was literally walking. I had to purchase a walker. I had to use that showing property. There was a period of about 6 weeks where the sciatic pain was so bad I could not sit. The only way I could comfortably position myself was leaning across a counter height chair.
Wow.
That was for my dining room table. And so there were times when I would have to ask a friend to drive my car. I would have a client in the front seat, and I would be lying down in the back seat of my then SUV, which I had to trade my car, in order to show property. And it severely affected, as you can imagine, my income this summer. At one point, I had shown some property, and my client called and wanted me to immediately write an offer. And I literally laid across my bed with my laptop writing this offer on this property.
That's awful.
When the offer was accepted, and I had to appear at the home inspection, I was again using my walker, and it was quite embarrassing. And the other realtor was there. This is a small town, and I mean, it's I understand disability, but it was embarrassing to me, and word getting out that Carol Ann Benjamin's disabled.
Right. So, Carol Ann, not to interrupt you at all, but Carol Ann, when did you first hear about Dr. Bonati? It was through a friend, correct?
It was divine intervention.
Yeah.
I had a phone call from Judy Miller, who is a former patient at the Bonati Institute.
Okay.
I hadn't spoken with Judy in over a year, and it was just out of the blue that she gave me a call and asked me how I was doing, and I told her what was going on, and specifically because Judy had been a nurse earlier in her career, and that's how I found out about the Bonati Institute. However, I didn't hear the information correctly and contacted I believe it was called the Laser Spine Institute or something, and talked to them and was almost ready to head down to speak to them, and decided to do a little bit of research. My former career was a litigation paralegal, so I was on the internet trying to figure out who the doctors were, and I couldn't find them. So I went to the state sunbiz.org to read their corporation information, and it was like a corporation owned them, and then I would go back to that corporation, and another corporation owned them, and when I researched it all the way back, it was inactive.
Right.
So I called Judy back to find out, again about the place that she went to, and then realized that I had the wrong place and that it was the Bonati Institute.
So Carol Ann, you sent your diagnostics down to Bonati. He said he could help you. You came down. What was the procedure like for you?
Well, first of all, I called Bonati that day. They immediately asked me to scan and send my MRI, which I did. And that afternoon, I received a phone call from Dr. Grossmith. I was amazed at how quickly that happened. And that was on a Tuesday, and I was scheduled to come down the following Monday.
Okay. When you walked in, what was that like for you from the time
amazing.
You came in?
Absolutely amazing. I mean, of course, everybody, I'm sure, is anxious and scared, and short of a couple of minor surgeries in my life, I've been fortunate. I've not had major medical issues. But walking through the door, I was greeted by this gentleman that was
Paul,
so welcoming, and went into this next room, and it was amazing. I was not like in a room full of cattle.
Right.
I mean, it was like the red carpet was laid out for me, and everybody that I came in contact with was specifically focused on me. And it was evident from every single person that I came into contact with at Bonati that they love what they do, they're dedicated to what they do, and their focus was on me.
And tell us about the actual procedure itself. I think you opted not to watch. Is that correct? But you were under.
I was not. No, I didn't want to watch. I don't
blame you. I wouldn't either. But you were under conscious IV sedation, so you were awake and aware, able to converse with the doctor, so you could sort of pinpoint exactly where the pain was. You remember that part, correct?
I don't remember that part. They say that I did, but I don't remember.
Oh, it happened. So when did you start feeling pain relief? Do you remember feeling that on the table, or was it sort of afterwards when you were in the recovery room?
Well, I don't recall. Other than going into the operating room, I remember seeing all the the utensils in the room and my anesthesiologist. But when I was in the recovery and I got off the bed, the friend of mine that came to stay with me for the week, who, by the way, had only known me since last December, so he had only known me to be a person in pain pretty much, most of the time, and then the severe pain as of May. When I got off the table, I started walking, and it was like, and everybody has told me, I look 10 years younger because the grimace is off my face. I'm not in pain anymore.
Yeah.
And he got all choked up because he just couldn't believe it. But the very first surgery I had immediately 100%, I was pain-free. Obviously, the incision part was a little bit, I couldn't even call it painful. It was just I knew that I had an incision, and that's really about it. But the sciatic pain, the burning that I had that went all the way down my leg, wrapped around the front of my ankle, was gone.
Wow.
The pain in my thigh was gone. The front part of my leg had been completely numb, and the feeling was coming back. And I'm experiencing, more feeling in that leg every day. But it was the first surgery. I was pain free.
And how long before you were back to work, Carol Ann?
When I came back, I was told I couldn't. I wasn't supposed to drive for 2 weeks. I had a message from some people that were out of town wanting to see property. I returned to St. Augustine on Saturday, so Dr. Bonati, don't get mad at me, but I did have somebody drive me on Monday, and Monday and Tuesday I did show property. I didn't go upstairs. I could have, but I chose to try to follow the instructions as best that I could.
I don't trust in women, so I know you will do that.
And Carol Ann,
true realtor. She's in there closing.
Yep.
Carol Ann, Dr. Bonati is right here if you want to say anything to him as we wrap up.
I just can't thank you enough for what you do there and what you've developed. I've talked about you both, the 2 Thursdays now that I've been on the air since I returned. I talked, and it's amazing how many people I've come into contact now that, are in pain. And this morning even received a phone call from the owner of Homes and Land magazine, whose son has been in excruciating pain, and he probably has already called your institute today. But thank you so much, and thank you for the people that you employ. They are wonderful, and I'm serious. It was every single person, Eric and the ladies over in where I had my x-rays taken. It was every single person I came into contact with, as I said, were focused on me.
Hey, Carolyn, we love you, but at the same time, don't keep talking like that. It's going to cost me more money.
All right, Carol Ann, we're out of time, but continue pain-free living, and we appreciate you calling in to American Medicine Today, all right?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Continue good health.
Have a great one.
Aw.
All right, another good success story.
We hear it week after week. Bonati succeeds where others fail. Don't just believe doctors when they tell you there's nothing that can be done. Seek us out. Most likely we can fix it. 98.75% patient satisfaction. You can reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute at 855-267-0483 or visit Bonati.com. Coming up after the break,
Malcolm Out Loud. He's going to be in studio. He's very opinionated, depending on where you're living and listening to this. You may have heard him on the radio. He's on numerous stations around the country, so should be good.
Yes, and I can't wait to find out the last name. We'll find out after the break.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden, I can cook, and I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, brought to you by the Bonati Spine Institute. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by executive producer Ethan Euchre.
I am here, as always. A pleasure.
We have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati. Without his mic on. And next to us, we have our in-studio guest, our friend, Malcolm Outloud, and national news and political commentator and host of Malcolm Out Loud TV, as well as the nationally syndicated radio feature, The Out Loud Minute. I would say a last name, but I don't know your last name yet.
You said it already, Out Loud. It's right there, man, Kimberly. Yeah, that's it.
That's
on my birth certificate.
Is that hyphenated or just one word?
No, it's 3 words. Malcolm Out Loud.
The nationality. What's the nationality?
Well, you know, I was born on Pluto, right? So, I mean, that's Plutonian. It's a family history.
How do you feel that Pluto was downgraded from a planet?
You know, we were pissed. We were really, really
now.
pissed.
I bet. Huh?
He's up at the planet now.
Yeah, no, it's a dwarf planet. It was downsized. In fact, my daughter said to me, a 12-year-old, said, well, Dad, if you were born to space junk, what does that make me? I said, well, that makes you a daughter of space junk.
Space refuse.
Hey, let me really correct that. It's already they downground and then they lift it up again, and now it's a planet again.
It is
a full planet.
It's
Are you sure?
Again.
No, so my ancestors didn't call me on that. I didn't.
Yeah, well, your spies
be
on
a
the
planet
space
to me.
don't remember that.
It'll always be.
I never did get well along with the family, anyways, buddy.
So we only have a limited time with you, Malcolm. And what do you feel about Obamacare and the things that are going on in this country today? Ridiculous?
Well, well, sure. I mean, it's all ridiculous for a lot of reasons. But I think the big story at this moment has been the Ebola thing. Obviously, that's where you said you wanted to start. Yeah, Kimberly.
Sure.
And I think there's a few things to understand with this Ebola business. Ebola, to me, is a manufactured crisis, okay? And it's manufactured by Washington, D.C., by both Democrats and Republicans, because this is what they do up there.
Right.
And it distracts you from the real issues and the things that these cowards and clowns need to be doing. So instead, we're Ebola-sizing everything, you understand? And so that's the first thing. And you know, the problem with all of this, back to, Ethan, what you're talking about with Obamacare and whether you get into, but going further than that, Ebola, you've got the terrorism threats and ISIS, and you've got all these various scandals and things. I mean, it's out of control, basically. But, you know, what we're doing right now, it's about fear. We put the fear into Americans, you understand? And that's what everything is right now. It's fear-based. Right. You know, a host on New York radio this morning asked me if I thought the media was doing a good job. And I said, absolutely not. I think the media sucks.
It's horrible.
Just like I do the politicians. I said, that's a 1-2 punch as to what's wrong with this country.
Right.
But we have a fear problem, you see. And everybody is fearful that something's going to happen. And, you know, I love this story I got to share with you on the Associated Press yesterday. You're going to love this. All right, now listen to me. Right. So the reality check of this, guys, everyone buckle up here, because more Americans have married Kim Kardashian that will probably have Ebola. How's that?
Very nice.
I mean, does that tell you anything or what?
I saw some other stats, Malcolm, where you're more likely to be eaten by a shark, struck by lightning, or die in an airplane crash than you are to contract and die from Ebola. It's like 1 in 13 million.
Having said that, Ethan, here's the deal. If Ebola is the problem, and we really are fearful of it, and now we got the New York doctor who's got it, there's a few things that make no sense at all to me. I mean, they just don't add up. If we tell everybody that, you know, this is a killer and it's a problem, and we just got the fear into everybody. Right. Then we tell you don't worry about it because you pretty well have to sleep with this person to get Ebola, you understand? Then we get the doctors out on the bus at the bowling alley up the road doing this or that or the other, and these are healthcare professionals like the 2 nurses in Dallas who clearly were under a quarantine program. This self-quarantine is baloney. They're not self-quarantining themselves. I mean, you know, you say it's a 21-day period. And then here's the thing about Washington and Obama is, well, and to placate this with Americans, well, here's what we're going to do, folks. We're going to take our 5 airports around the country, and we're going to take your temperature when you come in from West Africa.
Exactly.
I mean, we got to be idiots.
That's effective.
Idiots.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, this is the mediocrity again. We continue with the same type of behavior. One of the things that I don't understand, if they really believe that this is a problem, they will cut from the root. Nobody will come. The planes will be sheltered, and the individuals that become infected, they will remain in quarantine in other country, not here. Yes. In the country that they went to treat these people, they supposed to remain there. But the problem is, I totally agree with you. This is a political system that is creating this type of a distraction, so the people will or vote against or vote forward. But the major problem with this is that why we don't realize that this is just a situation that can be controlled if the control is being done in another country, not here. We don't need to bring the sick people to the country here.
That is a real issue of mine right there, okay? That is a real issue of mine. Because here we have these people who, you know, yes, Ebola does kill. I mean, the mortality rate of it is about 70%, okay? There's no doubt about it. And, you know, and there is help that can be had to these people. There are experimental drugs and this kind of thing. But listen, if there is a problem, then our flights should have been, this really is disturbing to me, that we put all this fear out there, and then we don't stop those flights coming from West Africa. And, you know, the lies that come out of Washington are enough to just curl your hair, because at first it was, well, we're worried about the economy of the West African nations. Hell, I'm worried about the economy here in this country.
Exactly.
That's first of all, that was the first lie by Obama. Then the next lie was that, you know, we're not only worried about that, but we got to get our aid workers back and forth. Like there's no other way to get people back and forth except on commercial airlines, so you fly them on your dime, Mr. President, you know?
Well, what I said a couple of weeks ago on the show, Malcolm, is that, you know, it's because this country has always been the bleeding heart, not always, but especially under this administration, bleeding heart, you know, oh, everybody, come on over here, bring your huddled masses. And I said, if your huddled masses have Ebola, stay the hell over there. We don't want you in this damn country.
Because we don't need you, and I'm sorry, we don't want you. It's that simple, man. I'm sorry.
Well, and I think Obama feels that he's the president of the world. He is trying to give our fortune, our sweat, and our responsibility to take care of the things in the country, and he's shuffling all the money to countries that they need to be sheltered by themselves.
Well, he thought he was signing up for a monarchy, obviously, not a president.
Well, on that note, we're going to reserve the right to have you back in our last segment. What do you think, Dr. Bonatti?
That's a great idea.
Okay.
All right, we have a guest in between, which is Dr. Eric Luthart.
Yes.
So Malcolm Out Loud, hang out for our fourth segment. How's that sound?
All right, you got it.
And,
cool, stand by.
Well, if you or someone you know is suffering with back, neck, or side pain, remember to reach out to the Bonatti Spine Institute, 855-267-0483, or visit Bonatti.com. Coming up after the break, Dr. Eric Luthart, X Prize winner, neurosurgeon, biomedical engineer, and author. and he has brain-computer interfaces. You don't want to miss it.
Cool
Stay
stuff.
tuned.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by Ethan Euchre, our senior fellow Jeff Wagstaff, and world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati.
He's waving to the cameras.
We're excited. We have a favorite guest.
Love this guy.
And we've been so excited that he's finally back again. Dr. Eric Leuthart.
Leuthart.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. Well. You're the X Prize winner, neurosurgeon, biomedical engineer, and author of Working on How to Retrain the Damaged Brains of Those Who Have Had a Stroke.
Yeah, that's the work he's doing.
Your innovations are just amazing. Computer-brain interfaces. Why don't you explain this latest technology?
Yeah, so it's currently in clinical trials, which is very exciting. So what the technology is, again, it's a brain-computer interface. Basically, it's a device that's taking signals from the brain, converting it so that we can understand the person's intentions to some type of external control. That's the general principle of a brain-computer interface, basically thought-controlled devices. Now, what we're doing in the setting of stroke is that classically, when you have a stroke, one side of your brain is injured from a loss of blood supply, and that leaves you paralyzed on the opposite side of your body. So if I had a stroke on the right side, my left hand would be paralyzed. So one of the things that we discovered about 10 years ago was that there was an interesting physiology in the brain associated with the desire to move the same-sided limb, meaning that there's actually signals, again, thinking of that right-sided stroke example, that there's actually signals on the left side associated with the desire to move the left hand. Mm-hmm. And so what we and it has some very unique features to it. And so we figured out ways to tap into that non-invasively with a simple EEG headset, basically electrodes placed on the scalp, which then control an exoskeleton that you wear on your hand. And as it turns out, if people start to use that signal, and we call it the ipsilateral signal, and the device is called the IPSI hand, that people who have had a paralyzed hand for years can use that signal to control that robotic exoskeleton of their hand to open and close it. Now, the interesting thing is, as they start to use it more and more, after around 3 months, their brain relearns to have that part of the brain actually take over control of the hand so that they can actually start to control their hand by themselves.
That's unbelievable. Wow. Now, if I understand this correctly, when that exoskeleton is on the hand, could they then in turn lift weights or do anything to work up the muscles that may have atrophied?
So basically, it's just learning to open and close the hand. Okay. So they think open, it opens. They think close, and it closes. So they can get a grasp. And it's a very interesting thing is that once you start this positive feedback role where they start to recover grasp, that you functionalize the hand and more comes back. They're getting continuous positive feedback. So they get a little bit of grasp, you know what? Then they can build on that, and they start to use their hand more and more, and that builds up more plasticity and more growth for them kind of reutilizing a different part of their brain to control that hand.
Well, this is amazing. What you really are saying is that part of the brain is in an active type of a response because the other part of the brain was assigned initially, and you learned that one from your birth till the time of the injury. But if you start to tap on this source and you start to train that brain, slowly will start to learn to use it, and at the very end, you maybe regain totally control just with half of the brain. That's what I understand you're saying.
Yeah, and so what's interesting is, our first patient, and you can go to YouTube and see his testimony at neurolutions.com. But he went from having his hand was kind of this paralyzed spastic fist, and after he's actually been using the system now for a year, and he can now pick up lint off of his shirt and open doors and button buttons.
Wow. Unbelievable.
That's actually was going to be my next question, Doctor, is the learning curve on this has got to be very steep. I mean, how long does it take to retrain your brain like that?
Really, our trial is for 3 months, and usually at around 6 months we start seeing clinically significant improvements. And there's very quantifiable data points. It's called the Action Research Arm Test. It's a very specified series of tests that you can assess a stroke patient and their level of function. And generally, if you have a 7-point improvement, that's considered clinically significant, meaning you have functionally improved. And that's a good improvement after an acute stroke. And again, we're studying chronic stroke patients, people who've had a stroke for years, at least more than 6 months. Because basically, the dogma today is that if you had a stroke and the function you have at 6 months is what you're going to have for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
We're showing that in chronic stroke patients now, by using this method, that we're starting to restore function in people's hands to the level that is as comparable to kind of functional recovery after rehabilitation after an acute stroke.
Wow.
Yeah, well, at the same time, probably you are going to start to learn. In the beginning, it's just a trial, but suddenly you start to map out the brain exactly which areas you need to target, and probably the same idea will develop new instrumentations or new type to input that area of the brain. The recovery, the rehab is going to be also faster. So this is an incredible idea.
Yeah. So again, we're in the middle of our clinical trial, and our preliminary results are promising. I mean, they're very exciting right now. So, like I said, we're halfway through, and I think hopefully we're going to be completed in the next 6 months. And so we're excited to have this kind of go to the next generation of technology, where it's not just a clinical trial, but again, it's being sponsored by a company. It's we're working to make a technology that will be available for everybody.
But
I understand what you're saying, because I have something very similar in individuals that they have, for example, a compression syndrome that develop a foot drop, and they always feel that that's it. You're going to live with that one the rest. When you do a decompression, these individuals, they have some time to learn again, to send the message from the brain to the toe, and that takes at least a few days, and then suddenly they start to move. What you're saying is you're transferring the same idea to the other side of the brain. This is impressive, very impressive.
But not only does it work on the physical ability of something as simple as like opening a refrigerator door or adjusting light switches or dressing themselves, but this gentleman that they spoke to in this trial said that he could finally hold his wife's hand.
That's right.
And that does a lot for one's self-esteem and confidence.
Yeah, it was a very powerful moment when I was kind of walking into my office, and he was kind of where they do the clinical testing is in a lab adjacent to my office, and he said, Dr. Leuthart, I just wanted to say, I can now put my pants on. It's been the first time in 4 years. And that, it really struck me. That's kind of human dignity.
Yes. Really, you guys are very romantic. One is holding the hands, and then was pulling their pants. I mean, this is really good.
The news coverage of that gentleman holding his wife's hand was very, very moving.
That was touching.
I mean, it was very touching.
Because the toll it takes on an individual and their spouse, their caregiver. I mean, it's a lot. So you're truly giving probably the two of them their lives back.
Yeah.
Dr. Luther, question. Is this strictly teaching the other side of the brain to act for the side of the brain that was damaged, or is in any way the brain trying to compensate for the injury?
In some senses, it's a complicated question, and it's a complicated answer. And the honest truth is, what we know is that we have a distinct physiology on the uninjured side of the brain that we can tap into. And when we do tap into it, meaning we're using our brain-computer interface to detect, aha, they want to move their hand, aha, they want to close their hand, and that when they use it continually, that we're seeing, kind of lasting functional improvement. Now, how their brain is changing over time is something that we still need to really rigorously interrogate. Certainly, that area of the brain must be playing a role. Now, how much of it is purely the uninjured hemisphere versus the uninjured hemisphere plus the injured hemisphere working in concert together, how those dynamics are changing, we still need to further explore it. I think we're demonstrating that this method works, and it will refine our understanding of neuroscience as we define exactly the mechanism of how the brain's changing in response to this method.
I have a question, though, real quick. Is this something that will ever be implanted?
Certainly that is one of the things that we're considering.
Okay.
Because once, and actually, it's kind of an interesting story. We originally started from an implant vision, meaning we're going to start off with an implant and have your exoskeleton. And I think the interesting thing is we found non-invasive equivalents of the physiology that we were looking for. Mm-hmm. And part of the challenge these days is that I think we're going to be able to get this system out. We're going to be able to deploy it and in a relatively cost-efficient way from a corporate standpoint. Because right now, one of the large barriers for getting implants out to patients, meaning new surgical implanted devices, is the FDA. It's so costly. It's so expensive. And these days, because of kind of just market forces, it's very hard to get people to invest in companies that have to go through the FDA process.
Right.
Yeah. Well, also at the same time, my question is, if you create an implant and you use the implant to constantly stimulate that area, you are going to remove that force that the body has to start to do it by itself. So the initial idea was fantastic, that you train for a few months and then let the body acquire that power.
It's kind of almost the brain's auto stimulation of a region.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's all very interesting stuff. I know I actually had another question, but we're running out of time. I saw a video very quickly on YouTube of a guy, I think this is a company out of Germany, that's using one of these BCIs, they call it, to fly a drone. And it was pretty incredible. So hopefully we can get into a lot of that stuff. I wanted to ask him what the applications are for other things. There's a company in Germany that's using these BCIs to help the elderly move wheelchairs. I mean, it's pretty incredible stuff. So
it's a growing space. I mean, I think that there's it's ranging from anything as wide as gaming to restoration for motor disabilities to novel treatments for a lot of psychiatric disease. That you're really going to see this permeate, I think, a lot of society in years coming forward.
Well, every step of the way, Eric, Luthart, anytime you see those things happening and you have another product that's coming out, you're a friend of the show, give us a call.
Okay.
We'd love to have you back on.
I very much appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you, Dr. Luthart.
Okay, take care. Bye now.
Thanks.
And a good man calling us from St. Louis in the shadow of the arch.
Ah, very nice.
Hometown.
Oh.
All right, up against the break. So, Kimberly, if people
love
want to
that
get
innovation.
Oh, he's great.
Incredible.
Speaking of innovation, Bonati innovates, he never imitates, and Bonati succeeds where others fail. So those that are suffering with back, neck, or sciatic pain, RSD, fibromyalgia, migraines, reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute, 855-267-0483, or visit Bonati.com. Coming up after the break, you'll hear what's new in American medicine today.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome's been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, brought to you by the Bonati Spine Institute. I'm Kimberly Brumell, here with Ethan Euchre. In spirit, Jeff Wagstaff.
Yeah, he's out being a senior fellow somewhere.
He is. He's in that think tank. And we have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati.
Hello.
Over here. And welcome back to the show, Malcolm from Malcolm Out Loud, national news and political commentator and host of Malcolm Out Loud TV, as well as that nationally syndicated Malcolm Out Loud Minute, or the Out Loud Minute.
That's right. We got them all wound up, ready to go to see what's in
Now it's time to see what Harry Reid, Nancy Pelosi, President Obama, and the Democrats have simmering in Washington, D.C. Let's see what's cooking in Barack's crock.
This is my favorite segment.
All you, Malcolm.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's a good question. What's cooking? Right now, they're in desperate mode, obviously. There's a midterm election coming up, kids.
Yes.
And they're in desperation mode because they have screwed up the country so bad at this point that even they can't hide it. And they're having a hell of a time trying to hide the damage they've done, clearly. One of the stories that just came across the newswire for me a few moments ago is Gallup poll shows Tea Party supporters the most motivated to vote. Now, there's a lot of reasons why that is. It's because people who really want change and people who are tired of the corrupt and where we're at, those are the ones who are going to be incentivized to vote.
Right.
But, everybody has an obligation to get involved in this process. I don't like it when people sit home on the sidelines and act like, well, they're going to take care of it in Washington. Let's not worry about it. Everybody has a responsibility to be involved in this process that we call here,
Devil's advocate, though, because I tend to be one who I can't pull the lever for somebody. I know they always say hold your nose and just pull the lever or pick between two evils. I can't do that. So unless there's a candidate that I back 100%, I'm not voting for either one of them.
See, and I don't agree with that. That is a completely wrong strategy to me. And so don't listen to Ethan this afternoon.
It's worked for me so far. And maybe not the country, but
that's
it's worked
the problem with our country.
It's not working for you. You're going to pay larger taxes. You're going to be in more problems. You're going to have your freedom is going to be cut down.
Right. But if
you're going to be very soon. You are going to probably be questioned about the way that you're talking in radio. So even your profession can be upset.
But
you need to vote for individuals.
If both guys are bozos,
I don't worry about the bozos. You need to go and look for what gives you the freedom.
Values
I mean, if you look, what is in your life that is going to give you the type of response of what you consider America, the freedom, the responsibility, the hard work, even if the guy is a stupid guy, you need to go ahead and say, is representing some of my beliefs, but the other one is removing your freedom, is giving you crap all over, and is raising your taxes, is making your life miserable, is going to restrict your job. Practically, they are going to try to remove everything that is an individual who wants to be responsible to the country. Then, even if it is not the right person, you have the obligation to respond to your feelings, to your needs in the country.
I hear what you're saying, and I've heard this for years and years and years, and especially on this station and the people that I work with. I get eaten alive every time I say that, but I don't care. I still am not going to vote for some bozo or another bozo. I don't like either one of them. I'm not voting for them.
Ethan.
Ethan, what I'm going to do, I'm going to kill you.
Brink.
So who did you vote in 2012, Romney or Obama?
Neither.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Nope, didn't vote for either one of them.
Well, I think this falls under the category of Brink thinking. What do you think?
Yeah, well, it does. I mean, because that's really where we need to get it's a great point, Kimberly, our country engaged. When we're not engaged, back to the fact, a lot of people look at the race in Florida right now of the governor in Florida, for instance, okay? Correct. And a lot of people would make the statement you just made, Ethan, that they're both bozos. They don't like either choice. But there has to be one that is less of a bozo. That's a democracy. And you've got to go with that one that, you have a gut feeling or something. Let me bring up a big, huge point I don't want to lose here a moment, please, because I'm talking about this on radio every day.
Let's change the subject anyway, because Dr. Bernardi wants to kill me.
And he's getting red in the face. He's got his hand or just about coming on your neck, I can see. So here we go.
He's going to fire me from the show.
But here's the thing about this. When we talk about being engaged in this, listen, how much government is too much government? Ask yourself that question today. And I want you to, and I want to say this is so important. It's the most important thing we talk about on this show today. Whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, or a communist, or whoever you might be, okay? Can anybody tell me on the far left, the far right, any of the lunatics, that government has done a good job in any of this. Has government done a good job with anything in dealing with any of the crises we've had, whether it's ISIS, terrorism, whether it's Ebola, whether it's, all of these things coming down to our economy here? What have they done well? And then you take a look at all the myriad of scandals. What's that?
They lie.
They lie well. That's true.
Sure.
But, the point of it is, so you all have to ask yourself today, how much government is too much government? And here's the thing, kids, okay? Mm-hmm. We need a government that just does limited things. Mm-hmm. We don't need a government in our affairs and in our business, and this is a problem.
I don't need them in my home or teaching my kids.
And yet you have them in your life and in your home. They're on your cell phone, they're in your email, they're in your text, they're in your hair. They want to text the hell out of you. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that really is the problem. So, and even the left can't justify this right now, which is why with the midterm election coming up, they're not motivated. The left isn't motivated to go vote. So, and if you don't vote, it's going to cancel out and it will go for the other side, Ethan. So we don't want that. So we have to vote conservative. And I'm sorry, folks. I'm tired of talking Republican Democrat crap. I'm talking about philosophical beings here. I'm talking about where our country is and what do we expect from this country. Listen, I only want them to do a couple of things well. That's it. I don't ask a lot of government. Protect our borders, for God's sakes. Pay your damn bills and stay the hell out of our life. That's it. You can do those things. The rest of it you can keep.
Amen.
That's it.
Yes, it's true.
Like
it's true.
Oh, boy.
Well, I wish
that's a good way to end
that's
the
how
show.
I feel about it as well. Yes.
Doc, any closing words? Any parting shots to me, maybe?
After this, I just need to go and rest.
Yeah, it was an exhausting show. I like having Malcolm here, though, because he's so full of life.
We reserve the right to bring you back, Malcolm.
Absolutely.
It's good to be with you all. Thank you. It's wonderful. Lively conversation.
Awesome.
Make sure to tune him out on the Out Loud Minute and Malcolm Loud, or tune him in. Out. I'm out.
Just tune in.
I want to say I love Malcolm Out Loud, Malcolm Out Loud TV, and the Out Loud Minute. With that being said, you're listening to American Medicine Today, and you want to reach out to the Bonati Spine Institute, 855-267-0483 or Bonati.com. Make sure you tune in to WFTS at 7:30 to watch our show, and we'll be back next week. Talk to you then.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
This is the first time that I am pain-free after 18 years. And it's just wonderful. I love it.
Phenomenal results. No pain whatsoever.
My pain is virtually gone. Nothing short of a miracle.
Those surgeries gave me my life back.
Already, I feel like a new person.
I'm going home new. I can chase my grandbaby now. I can garden. I can cook. And I'm really thrilled. The outcome has been remarkable.
I feel 100% better.
It's like a miracle.
It was phenomenal. It literally did change my life.
I was in a wheelchair at that time, and I left here walking.
Every single pain that I had when I came here is gone.
I'm ready to go home and feel great. This place is great. Thank you.
Everything that they said they would do, they have done, and I'm very, very satisfied and happy with those results.
I knew in surgery, in fact I told the surgeon when he relieved the pain off the nerve.
The pain is gone. I'm feeling wonderful.
I have no pain. I feel better than I felt in 4 years from the surgery. It was almost immediate relief.
Today I am totally pain-free, which is just amazing. It's fantastic.
It definitely works. I mean, I really don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.